The Transformers series is one of Michael Bay's most visually spectacular installments, but the age of Extinction hits different. This film pushed the boundaries of what a live-action Transformers movie could actually achieve. But how do they shoot this? Hey there guys, welcome back to Root Studio. Today we're gonna dive deep into the behind the scenes of Transformers Age of Extinction and explore some of the most iconic sequences and see how the filmmakers brought these high-octane moments to life. We begin with the thrilling moment where Cade, Tessa, and Shane descend Lockdown's alien spaceship using metallic cables and ropes of the ship to escape its danger zone. On screen, the height is dizzying. The city skyline stretches below them, but behind the work, the actors were actually working on a much lower setup where each actor was safely attached to harnesses and suspended on cables over a controlled platform. A green screen behind them allowed the filmmakers to digitally add the massive spaceship, cityscape, and dizzying heights later. Practical rope work combined with visual effects ensured that every swing and descent felt completely real while keeping the actors safe. Next up, let's peek at KSI's lab, where scientists study Megatron's remaining parts to design the deadly prototype of Galvatron. Every detail of Megatron's head and the leftover components was painstakingly crafted in CGI layer by layer to create a fully realized and menacing robotic design. Later, when Joshua moves his lab to China and Galvatron suddenly comes to life and starts wreaking havoc, the entire action of Galvatron's robotics was entirely digital. The lab, the destruction, and Galvatron's rampage were all CGI, giving the filmmakers the freedom to animate the robot's terrifying movements without any practical limitations. One of the most intense moments in Transformers Age of Extinction is when Optimus Prime is captured by Lockdown and is taken aboard his massive spaceship where Tessa is also trapped. Shortly after, Cade Yeager and Tessa's boyfriend Shane Dyson also get themselves this alien vessel to find Tessa. The ship's interior is vast, menacing, and filled with unfamiliar alien technology, giving it the feeling of a gigantic otherworldly dungeon. Dark corridors, metallic walls, and an eerie fog envelop the entire set, creating an immediate sense of danger. Behind the scenes, however, the filmmakers relied on a clever blend of practical sets and CGI. Michael Bay had the production team build only those areas where actors needed to physically interact. Graded walkways, steel railings, door frames, and a few machinery panels were all meticulously constructed on a studio floor. Fog machines, strobe lights, and carefully placed props amplified the alien atmosphere while ensuring the actors could perform safely on the elevated platforms. One memorable moment is when Cade accidentally comes across Lockdown's weapon. That prop and the surrounding set were fully practical, mounted securely on the studio floor to allow the actors to engage with it convincingly. Once filming on these practical elements was complete, the VFX team at ILM digitally extended the ship, adding endless halls, massive chambers, and intricate alien machinery. The practical fog, lighting, and actor interactions were seamlessly blended with CGI extensions, resulting in a ship interior that looks massive, realistic, and completely immersive on screen. In one tense moment, Tessa ends up trapped in a car inside the ship while machines attacked her. For safety, the team used a green prop to represent the machines. Tessa performed her reactions on the practical setup, and later, VFX artists added the mechanical attacks in post-production, blending her performance seamlessly with the digital threats. After Lockdown's initial attack, Optimus Prime escapes alongside Cade, Tessa, and Shane. On the road, we see him adopt his new alternative form, a redesigned 2014 Western Star 5700 XC semi-trailer truck. And this isn't just any truck, mind you, it's a bold cinematic symbol of heroism. With a deep blue body accented by sharp red flame decals, the truck's design perfectly conveys Optimus's power and presence. Behind the camera, the art and vehicle teams were using advanced automotive painting techniques, layered base coats, masking or stencils for the flame motifs, and multiple clear coats to achieve a high gloss finish that could withstand the demands of high-intensity action sequences. Every aspect of this design, from the vibrant color contrast to the truck's mechanical bulk, was carefully planned to make Optimus's presence cinematic, iconic, and instantly recognizable. Soon after escaping, Optimus Prime and the Jaeger family face another harrowing moment where Lockdown reappears mid-road, attacking Prime and trapping Tessa along with her car. On screen, this is a high-octane confrontation filled with explosions, close calls, and breathtaking stunts. Behind the scenes, the sequence combined real stunts, practical effects, and controlled explosions to create the illusion of chaos. For Tessa's trap scene, stunt coordinators set up harnesses and safety rigs, allowing her and the car to uplift and react convincingly to the attack. The result is a seamless blend of live-action stunts and cinematic effects that makes the mid-road fight one of the most thrilling moments of the film. During the city battle, there's a thrilling moment where Cade grabs one of Lockdown's alien weapons and takes out enemies with precise fire and taking cover wisely. On screen, the explosions and chaos do look intense, but behind the camera, the filmmakers carefully choreographed every action. For this scene, miniature controlled explosions were triggered around Cade to simulate cover fire, giving the scene a real tactile feel. The actors' reactions, timing, and physical movements were all captured in sync with these practical effects, ensuring that every shot and blast looked authentic. The combination of live-action stunt work and digital enhancement made this moment pulse with energy, giving audiences a full sense of the danger surrounding Cade. At Cade's farm, Lockdown launches a surprise attack on Tessa, Shane, Lucas, and Cade. As chaos erupts, the actors are seen running, dodging debris, and reacting to explosions around them. Behind the scenes, the filmmakers used practical effects to make this escape sequence feel real. Explosions were timed to go off safely behind the actors, and multiple takes captured their genuine reactions as they sprinted across the chaos. The coordination between stunt coordinators, pyrotechnics experts, and the camera team ensured that every blast, fall, and sprint looked seamless and dangerous, all while keeping the cast safe. One of the movie's most intense moments occurs during the climactic rooftop fight between Cade Yeager and James Savoy in Hong Kong. The actors and stunt performers had to leap between rooftops, dodging debris and enemy attacks. To shoot this safely, harnesses and wires were used, allowing stuntmen to perform jumps, flips, and falls without risk. Small props, set pieces, and debris were dropped from above to create realistic chaos on the ground below. Each falling object was carefully timed, adding authenticity to the action and making the battle feel lived in and dynamic. In the final battle, Lockdown uses his massive night ship to lift vehicles, metallic debris, and huge city structures, unleashing complete destruction. The scenes of buildings collapsing, cars flying, and streets being torn apart were a combination of meticulous planning, practical effects, and digital wizardry. The entire sequence began with a detailed pre-visualization. Using virtual animation, the team determined which buildings would fall, how debris would fly, and the camera angles that would best capture all that chaos. Partial street sets were built for the actors to interact with, while controlled small-scale explosions allowed them to react genuinely to collapsing structures. Vehicles, ships, and props were carefully lifted and dropped to simulate destruction in live action. These practical elements were later extended in post-production with CGI to create the massive scale of the city being torn apart. One of the most thrilling moments in this sequence is when Lockdown's night ship fires a massive magnetic beam over Hong Kong. Metallic objects, street signs, vehicles, and debris rise violently into the air. In the chaos, Cade, Tessa, and Shane are trapped in a blue SUV which begins to lift off as the magnetic force takes hold. The SUV then crashes onto a rooftop in a stunning visual moment. The blue SUV was rigged with heavy-duty harnesses and lift systems to simulate the magnetic pull safely. The actors performed their reactions on the rig while stunt coordinators monitored every movement. Practical fog, debris, and sparks were added on set to enhance the sense of force and danger. Later, CGI extended the environment, making the SUV appear airborne amid a sea of falling metallic objects and structural chaos. While many practical effects were captured on set, the massive scale of the citywide destruction was achieved through high-end VFX. ILM and partner studios used high-resolution LiDAR scans of city blocks to create precise 3D models of Hong Kong. Each falling building, shattered glass shard, and dust plume was simulated using rigid body dynamics and particle simulations with separate layers for maximum control. In the film's explosive final battle between the Autobots and the Decepticons, we witnessed an ancient Chinese gateway collapsing in the middle of the chaos. At first glance, it looks like a purely digital creation, something that must have been generated entirely through CGI, right? But in reality, this sequence was shot using a full-scale practical set. The production team built a large replica of the traditional gateway on location, carefully designed to match authentic Chinese infrastructure. For the destruction shot, the structure was rigged with breakaway materials and hidden supports, allowing it to collapse on cue during filming. Pyrotechnics and debris effects were added to enhance the realism of the fall. Later, the VFX team layered in the Autobots and Decepticons, integrating their massive battles seamlessly with the live-action collapse. This combination of practical destruction and CGI characters gave the scene a grounded, visceral quality, making the crumbling gateway feel all too real as it shattered on screen. One of the most memorable opening moments in Transformers: Age of Extinction is when geologist Darcy Terrell travels to an icy, Arctic-like location in China. There, she stumbles upon the fossil of a dinosaur not made of bone, but of transformium. Behind the scenes, this entire sequence was brought to life through computer-generated imagery. The dinosaur fossil, with its gleaming metallic texture and frozen form, was crafted entirely using CGI. Even Darcy's plane, shown soaring over the snowy mountains before she lands, was digitally crafted. While the actors performed on partial practical sets for close-up shots, the sweeping icy landscapes, the fossil, as well as the aircraft were all designed and rendered by ILM's visual effects artists. One of the biggest twists in Transformers: Age of Extinction takes place at Cade Yeager's farmhouse, where he and his family are suddenly surrounded by CIA agents. This scene was actually filmed at a real farmhouse location in Manor, Texas. Michael Bay and his team modified the existing property, adjusting the barn and surrounding sheds to match the film's cinematic aesthetic. For the explosive moments, especially when Optimus Prime burst out of hiding, the crew installed practical pyrotechnic charges all around the shed area. These timed explosions created massive fireballs and shockwaves on set, giving the action an authentic sense of danger that the actors could react to in real time. Right after the farmhouse standoff, we get one of the film's standout slow-motion shots. As Shane speedily jumps his car, one of the vehicle's wheels scrapes across the face of Agent Savoy's man in a breathtaking stunt. To capture this, the filmmakers rigged Shane's car to a crane and pulley system, lifting and tilting it with precise control. The stunt coordinator personally demonstrated the move for the stunt performer before rehearsals, ensuring complete safety. The shot was then executed practically frame by frame, allowing Michael Bay to capture that perfect bone-crunching slow-motion impact. The chase continues into another jaw-dropping moment when Shane drives his car straight off a rooftop, leaping across buildings. On screen, it looks entirely real, as if the car actually made that impossible jump. But in reality, this daring sequence was achieved with CGI enhancements. The vehicle was filmed in controlled conditions, and the final rooftop to the bottom leap was created digitally in post-production. By blending practical driving shots with seamless VFX work, the team made the stunt feel thrilling and believable without risking dangerous real-world crashes. As the movie moves towards its climax, there comes a moment that gave fans pure goosebumps where Optimus Prime summons Grimlock himself. The massive fire-breathing Dinobot that we see on screen didn't actually exist on set at all. For this, Industrial Light and Magic's VFX team worked for months to design the Dinobots. While creating Grimlock, they didn't just design a dinosaur, but gave him the personality of an alien warrior. His heavy metallic plate, glowing orange eyes, and the earth-shaking weight of every step were carefully animated. On set, the actors only interacted with empty space or sometimes foam blocks and markers, and later the full Dino robot was overlaid using CGI. In the final composite, sunlight, shadows, and metal reflections were carefully adjusted so that Grimlock and the other Dinobots looked naturally integrated into the environment. That's why when audiences saw them for the first time on screen, it felt as if these steel monsters had always been a part of reality. And that wraps up our deep dive into the making of Transformers: Age of Extinction. From harnessed rope stunts and practical set extensions to full-scale CGI Autobots. If you loved going behind the scenes and seeing how these epic Transformers moments were created, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, as well as smash that bell icon so you don't miss more cinematic BDS breakdowns. Comment down below and let us know which scene in the Transformers movie blew your mind the most.